our bishop reiterated the apology to the central government of our nation. And there were several elders and young people present. And it was noticeable that the reaction was mixed.
The nature of apology, that an apology is one thing, but repentance from that apology is yet another piece of work. It takes action to be able to do that, Shilo. And that action we felt needed one more piece or one more apology, and that apology was for the damage done not only 150 years ago in this country of Canada, but also 400 years of First Nations peoples on and Inuit and all of that, all across North America. Turtle Island, we call it.
There was a sense that some weren't ready to accept the apology because of the extent of damage, especially with our national artifacts like totem poles, regalia, headdresses, talking sticks, drums that were destroyed. Many elders passed down to the oncoming generations how difficult that was.
Because of what happened on Turtle Island, that's 400 years. So when you look at the colonization that has happened in North America, plus the era of residential schools in Canada, we felt an apology for spiritual harm was in order, because Michael's apology, while it was excellent and moved us to where we needed to be, the piece that was really missing was the fact that we were all still hurting from the damages done through the removal of our language, culture, spirituality, because those things were seen to be evil. Those things were seen to be, if you practice those traditions, you would go to hell. That was the teaching of the church.
So it's understandable that some aren't ready to accept the apology, but
an apology is a very, very big thing, and not only is the responsibility on the one who's apologizing, but it's also a responsibility on us who are receiving the apology, and I think we recognize that in our ACIP council. We've begun to ask those questions and to say, where do we go and what do we do and how do we do it?
Well, I think it was really meaningful, and I just wish more people got to hear it, and I think that's part of our job now, is to help get that apology out into our communities.
The primate's apology to me meant a lot, because when I think of my grandfather and my grandmother and my ancestors and how they worked so hard for the church and how things were, they were told that this was wrong, that was wrong. Mm-hmm. And that carried on through to second and third generation. So now that the primate apologized, now it's to try to get our grandmothers and grandparents to realize that it wasn't wrong at all.
To be able to become a self-determining church is probably one of the dreams of many of my family members. I know Reverend Arthur A. Youngman would have been so proud, because I know that he was really involved in the sacred circle.
It brought me joy, and being able to know that people recognize us now.
The apology for spiritual harm lifted us from that. And that's what I felt, a freedom that I'd never felt before. That now we have, as we've said in this meeting of the Anglican Council of Indigenous People, Archbishop Mark has told us, now we have freedom and authority. We have the freedom to move ahead without worrying that we're doing something wrong. And we have the authority through our Canon 22 and the movement toward a new self-determining church to make decisions on our behalf, led by Indigenous peoples. And those decisions we will make as we come together in sacred circle as we come together in Anglican Council of Indigenous meeting, which is Sacred Circle between Sacred Circles. Our canon gives us structure that we can now move ahead in a home that we recognize as First Nations people.
I found it was so moving, It was very emotional, and I kind of had the same reaction as other people said, like about their parents. You know, like if my mom had heard this when she was alive, I think it would have meant the world to her.
That to me has answered a prayer. It is meaning that we could do things and train our people, mentor, and bring the people into a big family.
And being able to say, yes, somebody recognizes us, and there's some tears that I had last night.
Back in 1994, we were brought into Winnipeg to respond to the church's request to look ahead, and we met in Winnipeg, and the apology by our then Primate Michael was given a year earlier in 1993. Michael's apology was received by the elders in a very good way, and Michael walked with us gently through Sacred Circles and the years that followed to equip us, if you will, for a journey of self-determination within our church, which is what we've been looking for. And the apology gave momentum for us to continue that work.
We appreciated it. The government certainly did appreciate that the church was willing to do that. So I think in time, those that are not ready to accept it eventually will. And it's for their own good to learn to forgive. That's part of our teachings.
We've had smudging in our church and they stopped that, but maybe this will help us to bring in more of our culture and traditions. And a lot of our young youth need to learn about it, so when they come to church, they'll be able to experience it firsthand. And I was just really proud that this came about.
For our children, we can speak to them. And you know, for my daughter and my grandson, I want something for them and not be lost as to who they are. See? I want them to know who they are and be proud of it too.
When I think about ourselves as becoming like a self-determining, independent church, it's a huge task that is before us, I feel. And one of the things I think is that we're really powered by some very wonderful energy from so many of our people who are involved, our Indigenous people. And I also see, I'm really happy that we have young people that are involved as well.
And the young people will be able to return to their homes energized and be able to bring those teachings back home and expand that to more young people. And the young people can gently bring their elders on board to help them to understand what happened as a result of the apology for spiritual harm.
To be able to bring in our traditions and our culture, I just really think that's really important.
And I'm ecstatic, and I just wish the elders were here to celebrate with us, but I'm pretty sure they're probably rejoicing in heaven, and I'm looking forward on how we can work together to become a self-Indigenous church.
I just can't think where this has ever been done before, and to me that is like really amazing. It is groundbreaking. Our heart is in the right place. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So
All in time with God's grace.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And as we do that, we will see new life, a new birth, and the emerging church will have a spillover effect on the rest of the Anglican Church of Canada. We're doing it within the Anglican Church of Canada. So the apology moved me deeply, and the canon on Canon 22, we are moving forward in a very good and a positive way. So it excites me.
Bring our traditions, bring our culture, everything back together again, the way it began with us, and so that we could be free to get our language back and be free to really live out the life that that's meant for us. Yeah, that's what I want.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Amen.
Amen.